My dear friend, welcome to the knowledge sharing session of first article inspection, which we also know the FAI. So the FAI is stand for first article inspection. But just before going to the discussion or knowledge sharing session, I just want to, there is always doubt in the team that FAI is your first piece approval or setup approval or first part approval. But in actually, as per the requirement, FAI first article inspection is different. Your first piece approval, setup approval, first part approval, like that. So, what is the meaning of FAI? So, FAI is basically there are three words are there, right? What are these three words? If you go by these three words, is your first three word is your first, second article, third is the inspection. It means your FAI is the intent to use this first article inspection. First is intent for your first series of production run. It means first article is applicable to the first series of production run or major upgrade, right? It means whenever you have developed a new product first time, right, you have completed all the activities of their process verification, product verification as a design and development. Now you are going to start the first series of production run. So when you conducted the first series of production run, then the representative item from that production run is verified for the FAI. Now, meaning of inspection here is basically your verification and inspection, the documentation. So there are three words are there: inspection, verification, the documentation. Why it is documentation is important? Because they provide as objective evidence that any defined activity is completed. What is required? To validate your production process and also to validate the production equipment. If I simplify or just define the first article inspection, so I can say that the first article inspection is the verification, inspection, validation, or documentation of a product, which is the first series of inspection, first series of production is verified for the product as well as the process, and it is conducted on the either is a first series or there is a change, major upgrade or major change from the existing product. So as per the definition, the FEI will be conducted on the two aspects: one, whenever there is a new product, or whenever there is a major change. What is the called the FEI management? Because FEI is not a single activity, it include all the teams, cross functional teams, their activity, their requirement. So you have to be define the proper FEI management system, which include when to conduct FEI, right? Secondly, what to do, right? How to do, who is the responsible to FAI and where to be conducted. Whenever you are using word where, it means we just define that is a part of in-house FAI or a supplier FAI. It means externally provided product process services FAI. Also ensure that FAI is always applicable to the manufacturing product or process, right? It's not like other that. So what is a requirement? Whenever you called a process, the definition of a process, it means they have a process on a mandatory requirement. Then they have a process customer. Before going to the that process customer, I just simplify the process. Process is a definition or is a set of activities which is required to convert input to the output. Definitely somebody is there in the which provide you input, which is called a process supplier. Don't confuse or mix with your process supplier with your externally provided product process supplier. When you convert input to the output, you will have a customer. So that is called the process customer. So again, don't be confused between your process customer and your end customer. Your end customer can be your process supplier as well as your process customer also. So when you defined a process of FEI, I don't say that it's only for FE. It is applicable to all type of the process. Whenever you have to define the process for any of the process, maybe it is for your internal audit, maybe it's for your tender management, maybe your training. So you can use this all the concept like process owner, process customer, process supplier, interfaces, work content, material resources, and personal resources. So obviously, to convert input to the output, you require the resources. These resources can be your material resource and can be your personal resource. Then your performance indicator. These PIs or performances are defined to justify that my process is performing well or not. Then you are risk and opportunity. So whenever you're defining a process, so you can consider all these aspects for the better and the proper definition of a process. And same is applicable your first article inspection. Now, what is requirement of the system? If you go by the system requirement, or you can say different IRIS standard requirement, so what is the main requirement of that? You have to define a process. So there is a mandatory process for the FAI. What is the requirement of process? The planning of FAI. It means you have to define the criteria to identify the product which need to be subjected to first article inspection. It means the system is allowing, given you the option to define the criteria. It means as per your defined criteria, you have to do the FAI. Or another way, if I say that, it means if you have a defined criteria, it doesn't mean you have to do all the product FAI. As per criteria, you have to conduct the FAI. Then your preparation. For the FAI, you need to validate and verify the process. So you need to be done the preparation of the FAI, because you have to conduct the FAI for the first series of production run, right? Then inspection and the verification activities. Special focus your critical and the special process, right? Whenever you're doing a going to conduct a FAI, please there what are the special process applicable, what are the critical process are applicable, so give special focus to them. Then after the conducting the FAI or any verification validation activity, there are generally three outputs are there. What is accepted, second is rejected, and third is your conditionally accepted. Same, you have to define the criteria for the FAI for the acceptance or approval, conditionally acceptance or the rejection. If you are all the requirement defined requirement are meeting, then you can say my FAI is approved, and now you can allow the production for the serial production. And now second case is there, okay, all the requirements are not meeting. There are some of the requirement which are not in the accepted criteria, right? So if these some of the requirements which are not meeting the requirement but they are not much critical, they can be closed or can be followed after that, so you can do the conditionally approved. Third, you found that the requirement which is not meeting, right, they're very critical, can't proceed without that, then in that case you can say the rejection. For example, you are going to conduct a FAI and you found that there is a major dimension which is affecting the customer fitment, right, and which is not meeting the requirement, it means in that which is not accepted, so you will do the reject the FAI. Whenever there is a second and third conditions, it means your conditionally acceptance plus rejection. In that case, you have to be ensure that there is a proper follow-up system of the corrective actions. What are the points which are found NG or not acceptable, they must be closed. Now applicable. So this FAI is applicable to both supplier as well as your internal products, right? Whenever any new product at the supplier end, also then is FAI is applicable, and where there is a new product, internal product, then also is applicable. But for the internal product or external product, you can define the criteria that we discussed in the previous slide. So when is FAI conducted, right? Again, we discussed first series of production run of new product, right? Second, the significant change, because this word when we called the first product is clear to everyone, but when they use this word significant change, so there is no proper definition of the significant change. This significant definition can be vary upon the situation, right? So this is more important for us or as a designer or a change management person, that they have to define the what is the meaning of the significant change. As per the standard, the significant change may be major design change, major production process change, there's a transfer of a one product from one to another, one factory to another, transfer process, restart of the production. For example, due to any reason there is no production of that part, for a certain period of time, right? This again, this certain period of time is defined by the company or defined by the organization. This certain period can be your 1 year, can be 2 year, can be 3 year, but there is a proper justification for that. So whenever there is restart of product after a certain period of time, right, and the other change which can impact or the product conformity, right? So the I suggest you that this change definitely whenever you are implementing the engineering change process or the production process change and other change management process, right? Whenever you're going to implement a change management process, at the same time define that first article inspection is applicable or not, right? If it's applicable, so it is applicable in the full or partial. It means when you say the full, you have to use the complete FAI to be repeat, but you can say the partial. In that case, only the area or the segment which is affected by the change, including the interface, must be verified. But if you are not defining the thing in your system, then it means there is a gap and then you have to implement the complete FAI. So if I just nutshell, I just summarize the FAI process. So FAI process is your first article inspection, which will be applied, will be conducted by verification or inspection of a representative item from the first series of production run or the significant change of an existing product. And this is applicable to your internal product as well as your external product, right? The definition of the significant change can be your design change, major production change, transfer, restart, and etc. But need to be defined. So this is the about the our topic of FAI, right? We have covered the FAI process, their requirement. Also, we have covered the standard requirement of IRIS. So this is just complete from my side. So thank you. I just request to the team, just please subscribe the channel so that it will give us the motivations. And also, I just request to put in the comment section. Just please suggest the next topic which you want us to share the knowledge, right? Thank you and stay safe, stay healthy.